Good evening and welcome back to ChessMess. Grab yourself a nice cup of tea and relax because we're going to try something a bit different today. I'm on a website called Chess, which is all about the life and times of Paul Morphy. They've got lots of information all about him and all of the things that he did, but I'm going to focus on the period where he became a writer for the New York Ledger. So I'm just going to read out the details here. Shortly after Morphy's arrival in New York, W.J.A. Fuller, acting as an agent for publisher Robert Bonner, offered Paul an advance of $3,000 to do a weekly chess column for Bonner's popular weekly paper, the New York Ledger, an offer Morphy readily accepted. And I did a little bit of research and I found a picture of Robert Bonner. So here he is, distinguished looking gentleman who owns the New York Ledger. So Paul wrote back to him, "Dear Sir, the offer you made to me to edit a chess department in the New York Ledger is so exceedingly liberal that I do not feel at liberty to decline it. I will commence my contributions sometime during the month of June next and shall furnish chess matter at no other newspaper. Truly yours, Paul Morphy." Although Morphy promised the first instalment in June, July was almost over with no Morphy contribution. Paul was overwhelmed with his public engagements. During that time, he had dined with ex-Governor Walker in Hoboken, attended a dinner at the Athenaeum Club on the Fifth Avenue with Senator Douglas, Colonel Forney, John Brougham, Reverend Milburn, and Park Benjamin, and later met with Senator Benjamin at the New York Hotel. He had played a 6-game non-official match with Theodore Lichtenstein, and he sat for a portrait by Charles Loring Elliott. Let's take a look. There he is. This is the picture that I've used on my frame here, although I have mirrored it just to make the composition a little bit nicer. And this hung in the Manhattan Chess Club for over 100 years. He was featured in Bellow's Pictorial, the cover of which featured a sketch of Morphy by Winslow Homer. Let's take a look at this one. There he is in sketch form. And meanwhile, he had taken ill, a condition for which he did spend some time at the Ocean House at Newport in the White Mountain in August. And there's a picture of the Ocean House. And Morphy's first column appeared in the August the 6th, 1859 edition. Although he ended his affiliation with the Ledger in August 1860, during that time he annotated 35 Bourdonnais MacDonald games as well as a few of his own and others. In spite of this, Fuller later referred to Morphy as incorrigibly lazy. So just to give you an idea of what the column would have looked like, here's an example. And you can see it's all written in old style notation, but hopefully as I do this series I will be translating this into algebraic and giving Morphy's commentary. Okay, so let's go ahead to the very first column. Excuse me, there we go. So I've taken this from a website called Wikisource, and by the way, I'll put the link in the description for this and the Chess website, so you can go there and read it by yourself if you like. But let's just go through this one. So Paul Morphy writes in his first column, "Concerning the game of chess, little can now be said that would not be a thrice-told tale to the great majority of our readers. We do not, therefore, in the present brief introduction, propose to offer any remarks on the history, antiquity, or fascination of that truly royal pastime, but simply to map out, without preface or preamble, the course it has seemed to us most proper to pursue in this new accession to chess periodical literature. It will be our endeavour, in the first place, to render this column not only interesting, but instructive to the chess student, to make it not an object of passing curiosity, but a feature possessing a deep and permanent value in the eyes of all, who, in the few hurried moments of leisure snatched from the engrossing, and to some extent necessarily selfish pursuits of life, delight to turn to a pleasanter field of strife, and fight battles from which cupidity can expect no golden prize. How best to attain such a consummation was the problem presented for our solution. It has occurred to us that an eminently practical chess column was a desideratum, I'll say that word again, it's a tricky one, was a desideratum in American chess literature, and that an attempt to fill up the void might be received with some little degree of favour. Our attention then, in the conduct of this department of the ledger, will be steadily directed to the plan here indicated. Excluding mere speculation, we shall aim at laying before our readers none but purely practical matter. A good problem, remarkable for the ingenuity or nice accuracy which unravels its mazy intricacies. 1 or 2 standard games, contested by the acknowledged masters of the checkered field and accompanied by elaborate notes, critical and analytical, will form the staple of our weekly contribution. Our readers will not be surprised by the announcement that we positively decline any correspondence in connection with this department. The reason is obvious. We could not undertake such a task. From the number of letters that we daily receive in our private character on the subject of chess, we can well imagine what an increased quantity we would receive in our character of chess editor. To answer every epistle would be an impossibility. Besides, correspondence must allow us to suggest that any leading treatise on the game contains all the information generally sought by them. We present our readers in the present number with the first of a long series of games contested between Le Bourdonnais and MacDonald. True, they have been published before, but no satisfactory analysis has, to our knowledge, ever been appended to them. We purpose giving 1 or 2 a week in the order in which they were played, with careful annotations. It is hoped that this attempt to furnish the American public with a clue to the intelligence of these beautiful models of chess strategy will not prove unacceptable. At the request of numerous friends, we will occasionally publish some of the games played by us in Europe and this country. And so concludes the first introduction by Paul Morphy in his New York Ledger column. In this same column, he goes on to annotate the first game, and that's what I shall be going through in the next ChessMess. So join me then.